Let me tell you something real today. If you give your life 6 honest months, just 6, you can be standing in a completely different place by the end of 2016. Not wishing, not hoping, not talking about it, but actually living it. Most people don't fail because they lack talent. They fail because they lack discipline, consistency, and faith in the process. The first thing you have to change is your mindset. You cannot keep thinking the same way and expect a different life. If you wake up every morning complaining, scrolling, wasting hours, and blaming people for where you are, 6 months will pass and nothing will change. But if you decide today that your thoughts will match where you want to go, everything starts shifting. Your mind is the control center. Whatever you consistently think about, you slowly become. Now let us talk about habits. Your life right now is a result of what you do every single day, not what you do once in a while. Every day. 6 months of waking up earlier than you're used to. 6 months of reading instead of scrolling. 6 months of learning instead of sleeping on your potential. You don't need motivation every day. You need structure. Motivation comes and goes. Discipline stays. You also have to change who you listen to. Everybody has an opinion, but not everybody has a solution. Stop taking advice from people who are comfortable being average. Stop sharing big dreams with small-minded folks. Protect your vision. Sometimes God gives you a dream that only you can hear at first. That doesn't mean it is wrong. That means it is personal. Another thing, get ready to be uncomfortable. Growth does not happen in comfort. If it feels scary, awkward, or unfamiliar, then it's usually a sign you are on the right path. 6 months of doing what? As hard will save you years of regret. You can either suffer the pain of discipline now or the pain of disappointment later. Choose wisely. Let me say this clearly. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. There is no perfect time. If you wait until everything feels right, you'll be waiting forever. Start messy. Start scared. Start tired. Just start. Progress beats perfection every single time. Faith plays a role too. You have to believe that what you're working toward already exists for you. Even when you can't see it. Even when the numbers don't add up. Even when people doubt you. Faith is acting like it's already on the way. Work like it's up to you, and trust like it's already handled. In these 6 months, you must keep promises to yourself. That's how confidence is built. Every time you say you're going to do something, and you actually do it, you become stronger. Every broken promise weakens you. Be a person you can trust. By the end of 6 months, you won't just have new results, you'll have a new identity. You'll walk differently. You'll think differently. You'll expect more from yourself. And once that changes, your life can never go back to what it was. 6 months from now, you'll either be proud you started today or disappointed you didn't. The choice is yours. Start now. Your future is waiting. Most people want their life to change, but they don't want to change the way they think. And that's the problem right there. Your life will never rise above the level of your mindset. You can pray, you can hope, you can wish all day long. But if your thoughts stay the same, your results will stay the same. The way you see yourself determines the way you show up in the world. If you keep telling yourself you're behind, unlucky, not good enough, or always struggling, your mind will look for proof to confirm that story. The mind is powerful like that. It doesn't argue with you, it agrees with you. You have to understand that your circumstances don't control your thinking. Your thinking controls how you respond to your circumstances. Two people can be in the same situation, and one rises while the other stays stuck, because one decided to think differently. When you change the internal conversation, the external situation eventually has to adjust, but that shift starts with awareness. You have to catch yourself when you are thinking small, thinking negative, thinking defeated. Those thoughts did just appear overnight. They were built through repetition. And anything built through repetition can be rebuilt the same way. A changed mindset means you stop seeing obstacles as stop signs and start seeing them as instructions. Every setback is trying to teach you something. Every delay is developing patience, strength, or skill. When you start thinking like that, frustration loses its power over you. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And start asking, what is this trying to grow in me? That one shift alone can change how you experience life. You also have to stop tying your self-worth to your current position. Where you are right now is not who you are. It's just a chapter, not the whole book. Too many people let temporary situations define permanent beliefs. They fail once and decide they were a failure. They get rejected and decide they were not chosen. That kind of thinking will keep you trapped longer than any external problem ever could. Changing your mindset also means believing you are allowed to want more. Some people feel guilty for dreaming bigger because of where they come from or what they've been through. They tell themselves they should just be grateful and stop reaching. Gratitude is important, but gratitude does mean settling. You can be thankful and still hungry. You can appreciate how far you've come and still know you're not done yet. Your mindset must shift from survival to growth. When you are stuck in survival mode, you only think about getting through the day. When you switch to growth mode, you start thinking about where you're going. That S, when your decisions change, you start investing time instead of spending it. You start choosing discipline over comfort. You start making moves that don't pay off immediately, but build something long term. You have to reprogram what you believe is possible for you. If you grew up seeing struggle, instability, or limitation, your mind may think that's normal. But normal doesn't mean permanent. You have to expose your mind to new ideas, new stories, new examples of what's possible. Read, listen, observe, and learn. The mind expands when it sees proof that more exists. A changed mindset doesn't mean you never doubt yourself. It means you don't let doubt make your decisions. It means you move forward even when you're unsure, even when you're scared, even when you don't have all the answers yet. Confidence isn't the absence of fear. It's the decision to act despite it. When your mindset changes, your standards change. You stop accepting excuses from yourself. You stop tolerating environments that drain you. You stop repeating patterns that no longer serve who you're becoming. You begin to expect more, not just from life, but from yourself. And once that expectation is set, your actions start to align with it. Everybody wants a better life, but very few people are willing to do better every single day. That's why habits matter more than goals. A goal is something you hope to reach, but a habit is something you live with. Your life right now is not the result of one big decision. It's the result of small choices you've been repeating for years. If you want a different life, you have to build different daily patterns, because what you repeatedly do becomes who you are. Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 week and underestimate what they can do in 6 months. They try to change everything at once. get overwhelmed, and then quit. Real change doesn't come from dramatic moves. It comes from consistent ones. Waking up 30 minutes earlier, reading a few pages every day, moving your body regularly, writing down your goals instead of just thinking about them. These small actions don't feel powerful in the moment, but compounded over time, they reshape your entire life. You also have to be honest about how you spend your time. Time is the one thing everyone gets equally, but not everyone uses it intentionally. Hours disappear into phones, television, and conversations that don't add value. When you don't control your habits control you. That's why discipline isn't about punishment, it's about direction. It's choosing what matters most over what feels good right now. Building the right habits means deciding in advance who you want to become. Once that decision is made, your daily actions should support that identity. If you see yourself as someone focused and driven, your habits must reflect focus. If you see yourself as someone growing and improving, your habits must include learning. You don't wait to feel like that person. You act like that person, and the feelings follow later. Another important part of habits is removing what no longer serves you. You can't keep doing everything the same and expect progress. Some habits need to be replaced, not just reduced. Late nights turn into early mornings. Complaining turns into problem solving. Procrastination turns into action, even if it's imperfect. Every time you replace a weak habit with a stronger one, you gain momentum. There will be days when you don't feel like showing up. That's normal. Habits aren't built on motivation, they're built on commitment. You don't negotiate with yourself every morning. You decide once, then follow through. The days you least feel like doing the work are often the days that matter most, because they train your mind to lead instead of follow emotions. Consistency also builds confidence. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you send a message to your mind that you can be trusted. That trust becomes self-belief. On the other hand, every time you break a promise, doubt grows. Strong habits repair that relationship with yourself. They make you reliable in your own eyes, and that reliability changes how you move in the world. You don't need perfect habits, you need sustainable ones. A routine that fits your real life will always outperform an unrealistic plan. Progress comes from showing up regularly, not from being flawless. Miss a day, don't miss two, fall off, get back on quickly. The goal is not intensity. The goal is consistency. Over time, these daily habits start shaping your environment, your mindset, and your opportunities. People respond differently to you. You respond differently to challenges. What once felt difficult becomes normal, and what once felt impossible starts feeling reachable. Your habits quietly build the foundation for the life you say you want. One ordinary day at a time. If you want to change your life, you have to get serious about what you allow into your mind and your space. Distractions are not harmless. They are expensive. They cost you time, focus, energy, and momentum. Most people don't realize they're not stuck because they're incapable. They're stuck because their attention is constantly being pulled in too many directions. You can't build a powerful future while living in a state of constant interruption. Every distraction looks small in the moment. A quick scroll, a short conversation, a few minutes of entertainment. But when those moments add up, they steal hours, days, and eventually years. Focus is the currency of success, and if you're giving it away to everything around you, there's nothing left to invest in your vision. Protecting your vision means deciding what deserves your attention and what does not. You have to understand that not everyone needs access to you. Just because someone can reach you doesn't mean they should. Constant availability weakens your ability to concentrate and create. When you're always reacting, you're never leading. There has to be time in your day where the phone is quiet, the noise is gone, and your mind can work without interruption. That's where clarity lives. That's where ideas grow. That's where progress begins. Protecting your vision also means being selective about the voices you listen to. Opinions are everywhere, but clarity is rare. If you listen to everyone, you'll end up confused. Some people speak from fear, some from jealousy, and some from their own unfulfilled lives. That doesn't make them bad people, but it does mean their advice isn't meant for your future. You need to be careful who you allow to shape your thinking, because your thinking shapes your direction. Another major distraction is emotional attachment to outcomes you can't control. Worrying about approval, validation, or recognition pulls you away from the work itself. When you focus too much on how things look instead of how they're built, you lose momentum. Real progress often happens quietly. If you need applause to stay consistent, you'll quit the moment it gets silent. Your environment matters more than you think. A cluttered space creates a cluttered mind. When everything around you is chaotic, focus becomes difficult. Protecting your vision sometimes means cleaning your space, organizing your schedule, and simplifying your routines. Order creates mental calm, and mental calm allows you to think clearly and move intentionally. You also have to protect your vision from your own doubts. Self-doubt is one of the most dangerous distractions because it feels reasonable. It sounds logical. It tells you to wait, to be careful, to stay where it's safe. But growth rarely feels safe. If you entertain doubt too long, it becomes a habit. And that habit will talk you out of opportunities before you ever take them. This is why boundaries are essential. Boundaries are not about pushing people away. They're about keeping yourself focused. Saying no is not selfish when it protects your purpose. You can't say yes to everything and still expect to move forward. Every yes costs you something, and sometimes what it costs is your future. When you eliminate distractions and protect your vision, your energy becomes more concentrated. You stop feeling overwhelmed because you're no longer scattered. You move with intention instead of urgency. You start making progress that feels solid and sustainable. The world will always try to pull you in different directions, but the moment you decide what truly matters, everything else becomes easier to ignore. Nothing in your life grows without discomfort. If you look closely, every meaningful change you've ever experienced required you to do something unfamiliar, something challenging, something that tested your patience and confidence. Comfort feels good in the moment, but it rarely leads anywhere new. When you choose comfort over effort repeatedly, you choose familiarity over growth, and that choice quietly keeps you in the same place year after year. Discomfort is not a sign that something is wrong. It's a sign that something is expanding. The first time you try anything new, it feels awkward. Your mind looks for reasons to quit, to delay, to go back to what it knows. That reaction is natural. The mistake people make is interpreting that feeling as a warning instead of an invitation. Growth always asks you to step into spaces where you don't feel fully prepared yet. Consistency is what turns discomfort into strength. Doing something hard once builds awareness, but doing it repeatedly builds capability. The first early morning feels painful. The first difficult conversation feels intimidating. The first time you push past your limits feels exhausting, but when you keep showing up, those same actions start to feel normal. What once drained you begins to energize you because your capacity has grown. Many people avoid discomfort because they confuse it with suffering. There is a difference. Suffering is staying stuck in patterns that don't serve you. Discomfort is leaving those patterns behind. One keeps you trapped. The other moves you forward. The discomfort of discipline lasts a moment, but the discomfort of regret can last a lifetime. Consistent effort means showing up even when progress isn't visible yet. This is where most people quit. They expect immediate results, and when they don't see them, they assume nothing is working. But real progress often happens beneath the surface first. Roots grow before branches appear. Strength builds before results show. If you quit too early, you never give your effort enough time to compound. You have to learn to stay in the process long enough for it to work. That requires patience and trust. Trust that the work you're doing matters, even when it feels repetitive. Trust that every small effort is adding up, even when it feels insignificant. Consistency is powerful because it removes drama from progress. You stop relying on bursts of motivation and start relying on commitment. There will be days when your effort feels heavy, days when you question whether it's worth it. Those are the days that shape you the most. Anyone can work when it's exciting. Growth comes from working when it's routine, when it's uncomfortable, when it feels like nobody is watching. That's when character is built. Getting comfortable with discomfort also changes how you handle fear. Fear doesn't disappear. It just loses control over your decisions. You stop waiting to feel ready and start moving while still uncertain. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's the willingness to act in its presence. Each time you do that, fear becomes quieter. As you continue to push through discomfort with consistent effort, your confidence grows naturally. Not because you told yourself positive things, but because you proved to yourself that you can handle hard things. That kind of confidence is unshakable because it's built on experience, not words. Over time, you stop seeing hard work as a burden and start seeing it as a pathway. You understand that the effort you put in today is shaping the freedom you want tomorrow. Discomfort stops feeling like an enemy and starts feeling like a signal that you're moving in the right direction. Most people delay their dreams waiting for a moment that feels safe, comfortable, and guaranteed, but that moment never comes. Perfect timing is an illusion that keeps people stuck. Life doesn't pause until you feel ready. And opportunities don't wait until your confidence catches up. If you keep waiting for conditions to be ideal, months turn into years, and years turn into regret. Progress begins the moment you decide to move, not when everything lines up. The truth is, clarity comes from action, not from thinking. You don't figure everything out before you start. You figure things out because you start. Too many people sit in planning mode, convincing themselves they're being responsible, when really they're afraid of making mistakes. But mistakes are part of the process. You can't grow without them. Every successful person you admire started before they felt prepared and learned along the way. Fear often disguises itself as logic. It tells you to wait, to gather more information, to be cautious. It sounds reasonable, but its real purpose is to keep you in your comfort zone. Comfort feels familiar, even when it's painful. That's why people stay in situations they've outgrown. Taking action disrupts that familiarity, and the mind resists disruption. You have to act anyway. Starting now doesn't mean starting perfectly. It means starting honestly. You use what you have, where you are, with what you know. You stop comparing your beginning to someone else's middle. You stop measuring progress by speed and start measuring it by direction. Movement in the right direction always beats standing still with good intention. When you take action, even small action, momentum begins to build. Momentum changes how you feel. It replaces doubt with evidence. Every step forward proves that you're capable of more than you thought. Waiting, on the other hand, feeds insecurity. The longer you wait, the bigger the task feels, and the harder it becomes to begin. You also have to accept that action invites uncertainty. There are no guarantees, but staying where you are is not a guarantee either. It's just familiar. Growth requires risk, and risk requires courage. Courage isn't loud or dramatic. Sometimes it's quiet and personal. It's the decision to try even when the outcome is unclear. Many people think confidence comes before action. But confidence is actually built after action. You don't wake up one day suddenly fearless. You become confident by doing things that scare you and realizing you survived. Every time you act despite fear, fear loses some of its power over you. Procrastination often comes from overthinking. You replay scenarios, imagine worst-case outcomes, and talk yourself out of opportunities that haven't even had a chance yet. Action interrupts that cycle. It grounds you in the present moment. Instead of worrying about what might happen, you focus on what you can do next. Starting now also means accepting that progress may be slow at first. That's normal. The early stages are often quiet and uncomfortable. There may be no applause, no recognition, no visible reward. That doesn't mean nothing is happening. It means you're building a foundation. And foundations are rarely exciting to watch. When you stop waiting and start moving, you shift from dreaming about change to creating it. You stop being a spectator in your own life and become an active participant. The future doesn't reward intentions. It responds to action. Every step you take today shapes what tomorrow looks like. Even if you can't see it yet, faith, discipline, and self-respect are the quiet forces behind every lasting transformation. They don't make noise, they don't seek attention, but they determine how far you go and how long you stay there. When motivation fades and excitement wears off, these three elements are what keep you moving. Without them, progress becomes temporary. With them, change becomes permanent. Faith is not about ignoring reality. It's about believing there is more than what you see right now. It's the inner certainty that your efforts matter even when results are delayed. There will be seasons where nothing seems to be working, where doors feel closed, and where doubt creeps in. Faith is what allows you to keep planting seeds even when the ground looks empty. It keeps your spirit steady when circumstances are unstable. Faith reminds you that just because you can't see growth doesn't mean growth isn't happening. Discipline is the structure that carries faith into action. It's the decision to show up regardless of mood, weather, or circumstance. Discipline doesn't ask how you feel. It asks what needs to be done. It's choosing long-term reward over short-term comfort. While motivation comes and goes, discipline remains reliable. It builds routines that don't depend on emotions, and those routines quietly shape your future. Self-discipline also creates freedom. When you control your actions, your habits no longer control you. You stop being a slave to impulse and become a leader of your own life. Each disciplined choice strengthens your ability to make the next one. Over time, discipline becomes less about effort and more about identity. You don't force yourself to do the work. You do the work because it's who you are. Keeping promises to yourself is where faith and discipline meet. Every time you say you'll do something and follow through, you build self-trust. That trust becomes confidence, not the loud kind, but the steady kind that doesn't shake when things get hard. When you break promises to yourself, even small ones, doubt begins to grow. You start questioning your ability to finish what you start. Honoring your word to yourself repairs that relationship and strengthens your belief in your own capability. There will be moments when no one is watching, applauding, or encouraging you. Those moments matter the most. That's where character is built. Doing what you said you would do, even when it's inconvenient, trains your mind to rely on commitment instead of emotion. Over time, this consistency becomes a source of pride, not arrogance, but quiet self-respect. Faith also teaches patience. Not everything unfolds on your schedule. Some breakthroughs take time. Discipline teaches persistence during that waiting period. Together, they prevent you from quitting too soon. Many people give up right before things start to change because they mistake delay for denial. Faith keeps you hopeful, and discipline keeps you moving until the change arrives. As you continue honoring your commitments, your standards rise. You stop accepting excuses from yourself. You stop settling for less than you're capable of. You begin to see yourself as someone dependable, focused, and resilient. That self-image influences every area of your life, from relationships to work to personal growth. In the end, success is not about talent alone, and it's not about luck. It's about what you believe, what you practice daily, and whether you respect your own word enough to keep going when it gets difficult. When faith leads, discipline supports, and promises are honored, transformation becomes inevitable. Stay committed, stay consistent, and trust the process, because the work you are doing now is shaping the life you will be proud to live.